Have you ever heard of Svara Yoga? Svara is breath, and the foundation text from India is called Sivosvaram, the breath of Shiva. Now, Svara Yoga says that the breath is usually in one side or the other, and it'll stay there for about an hour, hour and a half, and then it goes through both nostrils, and then it shifts sides to the other nostril. And whenever it switches sides, it goes through a phasing of the elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. In fact, it's when I first got a tattoo, the very first tattoo I got and did was in Thailand. And I was thinking, man, it has to be something I like forever, something I like forever. And what I got was this the basic symbol set for the prescribed symbols according to the text for the elements. I figured, well, that'll be relevant at least as long as I'm alive. So that was the first tattoo I got. First tattoo I worked on as well. Well, with a proper tattoo machine and stuff. So in India, most people really aren't necessarily aware of this information, but a lot of yogis are definitely aware of this. And even most people practicing yoga in any sort of regular manner do the alternate breathing, which maybe you've seen that. You inhale one side, you hold it, and you exhale the other side. Then you inhale that side, and you exhale that side. So it goes back and forth. And this is to clean the nadis, or the energy channels, as they're called. You have the right channel, it's considered the solar channel, and you have the left channel, which is considered the lunar channel. And so throughout the day, you have this phasing back and forth between the solar and the lunar channels. And according to the text, virtually all living things will breathe with this cycling. Now, yogis learn to manipulate their breath. And some of the really subtle longevity ideas is that the best way to live long, or at least one interpretation of it, is when the breath is naturally on this side, to manipulate it to this side. Many people don't realize this, but the nose has erectile tissue in it. Other than like the erogenous zones, it's the only place in the body that has erectile tissue. And it's directly related to the breath flowing from one nostril or the other. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, my breath, it's almost never in both nostrils. But the thing is that that's natural. That's healthy. And although there's a lot of prescriptions, like if you are attracted to the person or you want to be on their good side, you stand with the flowing nostril toward them. Or if you want to cause somebody to go away, you turn with the flowing nostril away from them. But in practical day-to-day matters for the normal person, the best gem of useful knowledge that comes with this information is that when the breath is in both nostrils, no productive work can be done. The only thing that's prescribed to do during both nostrils flowing is, well, meditation and conceiving a baby who's either going to be a complete fool or a saint, or killing someone. Other than that, it's best just to take a break. So if you pay attention, you'll notice it too. I mean, you can notice which side the breath is flowing on, but sometimes in daily life, you'll notice like conversation just falls flat, or everything's suddenly weird, and you'll see people being like, well, I guess I'm gonna go, something like this. And if you check your breath, a lot of the times you'll find that the breath is in both nostrils during those transition times. So if you're ever doing productive work and there's suddenly things are just like blah, 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 not working right, check your breath. And if it's in both nostrils, just wait a minute. Literally, just wait a minute. And it'll pick up the next side and it'll kick back in. There's a book that was published called Nature's Finer Forces, and you can probably find it on PDF. And a significant section of that book is the Sivosvaram proper. But the book itself is all about Svara Yoga and the tides of the elements. And so people who study it for magical purposes, there's prescriptions like you want the breath in this nostril, in this element for this purpose. And it can get quite complex. But if you have any doubts about the yogis paying attention to this, you just look. And a lot of pictures of Shiva, you'll see him where he's sitting, but his arm will be on a crutch. And that's not just to keep his arm up. That crutch is actually used to put under here, one side or the other, to manipulate which side the breath is on. And you can even do this yourself to see. Like if you put your arm under one side and wait 3 or 4 minutes, I think I don't use this practice, but I've tried it and it definitely works. And I think it's the side that you block like that, it'll flow in that side. It takes a couple of minutes. But this is really super occult, magical knowledge. Again, a lot of people just don't know about it. And sometimes I'll be talking to people who are into yoga and stuff, and I'll start to talk about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I do this sort of thing all the time," and I don't try and correct them. It's not like I'll be correcting them, but that's such a minor little element to the bigger science. They think that they understand it because they do this alternate breathing. Is it the Vishnu's mudra? A lot of people do it like this. Some people will do it like this. But really, I don't think it really matters how you do the alternate breathing. But it does bring balance to the mind. And certainly I would recommend it to anybody who has any interest in breathing. The bigger teachings are that the breath and the mind are they're completely connected. Some people say the mind rests on the breath. And yeah, okay, you get excited, you breathe fast. But the people who really believe it's much more specific and nuanced than just breathing rapidly makes you excited. Anybody can see that one. So as a yogi, as someone who practices yoga, a yogi or a yogini, breath becomes the foundation connection between prana and between the etheric realm and the physical realm. Breath is this unique place because it happens automatically, but then if you want to, you can control it. In a lot of ways, in a very real way, for anybody pursuing the science of mind and the greater opportunity for yoga, the breath is one of the primary vehicles of control. And hey, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. Like in the Golden Dawn, the Western occultism, one of the primary techniques of controlling the mind is to breathe in equal steps. So it's like, let's say 2 in, hold for 2, exhale for 2, stay exhaled for 2. So it's this evenness. But in the science of yoga, the purification ratio is usually inhale for 1, or the ratio of 1. Hold for 4, exhale for 2. And so any ratio of that, like inhale for 4, hold for 16, exhale for 8. Well, there's this really subtle teaching, and I'm not a master, but sometimes I'll come across it in my own attention, and it's profound. And you can read about the teaching, but to get it is a whole other story. And that's at the change points, at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath, when the breath goes from inhaling to exhaling. That little window is some sort of special thing. But if you're just breathing, it's like, what's so special about it? It's like, what's so special about it, But I discovered a way, I think, to help people tune to the specialness, which is when you inhale, like for example, if you just inhale a little bit and hold it at the top there, and then from the inside, how can I say, make as though you're about to exhale, but don't actually exhale air. Maybe inhale and exhale very, very lightly at the very top there, and pay attention to your third eye area. And you can notice this almost, how do I explain it, like a shimmering effect to the eyes and the mind. And I think if you discover that thing there, you can use that as a tool to go deep into meditation, or at least to another level of attention and awareness. And it's pretty profound, really.